90-Day Fiancé friends, please watch the full video and please subscribe. Natalie Mordovtseva had always dreamed of being in the spotlight. From the moment she made her debut on 90-Day Fiancé, she was cast into the glare of public attention, and the world watched as she navigated a tumultuous relationship with Mike Youngquist. But despite the drama surrounding her relationship, Natalie had always known that there was more to her than just being a reality TV star. Her heart had always been drawn to acting. For months, Natalie tried to break into the acting world. She took acting classes, attended auditions, and even landed a few small roles. But despite her determination, the industry wasn't as welcoming as she'd hoped. Critics and casting directors seemed unimpressed by her performances, and the roles she landed were nothing more than fleeting cameos or extra parts. The reality of acting wasn't as glamorous as it seemed on TV. Natalie found herself feeling disillusioned. She poured her soul into learning the craft, but no matter how hard she tried, the opportunities just didn't materialize. The casting calls grew fewer and the rejections piled up. It was a hard pill to swallow. But Natalie was not one to give up easily. She knew that she couldn't just fade into obscurity. She needed a fresh start. Before she became a reality TV star, Natalie had lived a more conventional life in Ukraine. She had worked as an accountant, a career that had always provided stability. While it wasn't glamorous, it was a job she excelled at. And after the collapse of her acting dreams, the idea of returning to her roots seemed like the most logical step. Natalie's decision to return to her old career wasn't easy. The acting world had promised her fame and fortune, but now she was going back to a quieter, more predictable life. She'd had to confront the fact that her acting aspirations had failed, and this was the only path that made sense. One evening, as she sat at her kitchen table, sipping a cup of tea and staring at her phone, she came across an old message from her former employer. It was an offer to come back and work as an accountant in their firm, a position she had left years ago when the allure of television had drawn her away. The message felt like a sign. Maybe this was where she belonged after all. Without hesitation, she called the number. "I'm ready to return," she said, her voice steady. "I've learned a lot during my time away, and I'm ready to take on the job again." Returning to her old job wasn't as simple as stepping back into familiar shoes. Things had changed at the firm during her absence. New people had joined, and the office had adopted a more modern approach to accounting. But Natalie wasn't deterred. She threw herself into her work with the same determination she had once applied to acting. At first, it was challenging. The routines of accounting were a far cry from the bright lights of television sets. But as the weeks passed, Natalie found herself thriving in the structure. She enjoyed the precision and predictability of numbers. No drama, no rejection, just hard work and steady progress. She quickly earned the respect of her colleagues, who had been initially skeptical of her return. They'd all heard the stories about her reality TV fame, and some had expected her to be a diva. But Natalie surprised them. She was diligent, humble, and eager to learn from others. Her acting career, although short-lived, had taught her a great deal about resilience and perseverance, and those lessons proved invaluable in her new role. Despite finding fulfillment in her old career, there were moments when Natalie still longed for the spotlight. Social media would occasionally remind her of the fame she had briefly tasted. Her followers would comment on her photos, asking when she'd return to TV. She could feel the pull of her former life, but the satisfaction she found in her accounting work kept her grounded. One day, while reviewing financial statements in the office, Natalie's phone buzzed. It was a message from a casting agent who had worked on 90 Day Fiancé. They were looking for a new reality TV star for a spin-off and wanted to know if she would be interested in participating. Natalie hesitated. The temptation of fame was still strong, but she knew the toll it had taken on her. The cameras, the drama, the endless scrutiny. It had been overwhelming. And while reality TV had brought her a sense of excitement, it hadn't brought her the lasting fulfillment she had hoped for. She had experienced enough of that world to know that it wasn't where her heart truly belonged. In the months that followed, Natalie settled into a routine. She continued her work at the accounting firm, where her skills were appreciated and her personal life found a semblance of peace. She reconnected with old friends in Ukraine and found solace in the familiar rhythms of her previous life. However, Natalie didn't abandon her dreams entirely. She kept up with acting classes and took occasional roles in local theater productions, where the pressure was much less intense. It was a hobby now, a way to keep the spark alive without the heavy expectations of fame and success. Her journey had taken unexpected turns. From reality TV to acting dreams and back to accounting, Natalie had learned to embrace change and find joy in the quieter moments of life. She had discovered that success wasn't always about fame or big accomplishments. It was about finding fulfillment in what you do. And for Natalie, that fulfillment was finally found in her past job, where the future felt more stable, more grounded, and more true to who she was. Natalie's return to her past job had not been a failure. It had been a revelation. She realized that she didn't need to chase fame to feel fulfilled. Her past had shaped her, but it didn't define her. The reality of her life was that she was more than just a TV personality. She was a capable, intelligent woman with skills that were valued by those around her. She didn't regret her time on 90 Day Fiancé or her attempt to break into acting. Those experiences had taught her valuable lessons about herself. But now, as she sat in her office, crunching numbers and managing projects, she felt a deep sense of peace. It was a job that allowed her to be herself, without the pressure of living up to anyone's expectations. In the end, Natalie realized that her true success was not about how famous she became, but about how authentically she could live her life, no matter what that life looked like.